All right. I think I'm going to do this. I'm just going to talk about this shit. Because this is my thing, is that I talked about this on Twitter at length, at extreme length. And I talked about this on my Instagram Live. But, you know, I've realized that my Twitter audience and my YouTube audience doesn't always overlap the same exact way that you would think that it would. So I decided that I just want to tell this story on here too. Why not make a video for the YouTubers to tell them what happened with me and Russ? Because I know everybody wants to talk about it, and I just want to get the story out there. You know, I was kind of sitting on it. I was kind of holding it in. I was like, damn, nobody knows about it. It's kind of like, might as well keep it quiet. But the more I kept thinking about it, I was like, man, like, I'm the victim in this situation. Like, I come out of this situation looking kind of good. Why am I trying to keep it a secret? So here goes the details. It was back in January. For those who think that I got fucking beat up yesterday, no. It was back in January, and I forget what it was exactly, but we had some kind of event at the store all day. There's a shitload of people here, tons of my friends, you know, fans, whatever. And it was getting late. It was like maybe 7, and it was getting dark outside and everything, and I was starting to get a little bit annoyed with having to talk to 5 million people for many, many hours. So I decided, fuck it, I'm going to, you know, sort of meander over to the nail salon, like 3 stores down. And I went in there, and I started getting a manicure, as I sometimes do. Not there anymore, since I'm a little bit sussed out. But, you know, I'm sitting there with my back turned to the door because I'm figuring, you know, this is Melrose. People walk by, and they could see me, and I don't want anybody to like come in and ask for a photo or anything. So I'm like, you know, got my hood up so that I can just get my nails done and then get back over to the store and keep hanging out and everything. And, you know, maybe get my nails done for like 10 minutes. And then all of a sudden, I just hear Adam 22. I'm thinking it's somebody wanting a photo. So I'm like, oh, God, can't I just get my fucking nails done? I turn around and boop. Oh, got punched in the goddamn head. Didn't see the guy that well, but punched me in the head one time, and then I believe I got hit again, sort of on the top of the head. Once I was like, you know, because when I got hit, I like dropped, and then as I was like jumping up, like by the time I jumped up, which is what, you know, in my head, I'm like, oh fuck, because, you know, definitely probably in a situation like this, it's gonna be more than one person, right? So like as I'm jumping up, I'm already thinking like, oh fuck, like as in I'm gonna have to fight a bunch of fucking dudes right now. But before I could even square up, boom, they ran away. I'm like, what? I take off running. I run to the outside of the nail salon. By the time I get outside the nail salon, they're gone. I didn't even know if they went left or right. I thought they went left. So I went and looked left. I didn't see anything. One of the fans who was walking by, I mean, he was like, dude, what the fuck is up? I'm like, these fucking dudes just jumped me. And he couldn't believe it. And actually somebody said that they saw that they had the little getaway car around the corner waiting. So I was a little freaked out. You know, I'm making all these calls. I'm talking to like everybody I can think of talking to about this. I'm like, you know, hitting up anybody that I have in my life who's, you know, sort of intertwined with the street life in LA, trying to figure out, you know, what the fuck happened. And all my like OG ass dudes that I'm hitting up about it are kind of confused because they're like, yo, if this was some gangbanging shit, like if it was, you know, because in my head I'm thinking, you know, maybe there's somebody who's mad at me because I didn't give them an interview, and they're like, you know, from LA, they're really with the shits. They felt like they actually deserve an interview, or maybe, you know, it's like some fucking group of dudes who are pissed that I'm hanging out with this other group of dudes, some sort of thing like that. Because I really was thinking about it. I'm like, who the fuck is mad at me like that? You know, I just couldn't think of anybody. And this was like 9 months ago too, so it's like I had even less enemies at that time. Hold on one sec. So So what I did afterwards, yeah, I mean, I just fucking called a bunch of people. Actually, really weird fact, Drake followed me on Instagram and messaged me, like, literally while this was happening. So, like, before I even had a chance to tell my girlfriend about the fact that I got jumped, she hit me up and goes, Drake followed you on Instagram. Some kid sent me a screenshot. And I was like, wow, good news and bad news at the same time. Did Russ send Drake to follow me on Instagram as a decoy? There's your conspiracy theory. Drake, I'm not serious. But, so yeah, I had no idea, no clue. And it really pissed me off too, because it's like the Vietnamese ladies, I called them Korean in a tweet earlier, which I was wrong. It's a Vietnamese nail shop. But the Vietnamese lady said that they didn't see anyone filming, but then one of the customers, the woman who was in there, she said that she saw someone outside who might have been filming. Either way, there's like at least 3 dudes. none of which was Russ. And I was just totally lost. Couldn't figure it out at all. You know, asked as many people as I could. It made me kind of change how I want to move around and everything, keep my guys around me, stay protected, you know. And yeah, but I got over it pretty quick. I mean, I didn't get hurt at all. It was like I had the tiniest little bump right here. Nobody ever even noticed it. I like went on live stream for like fucking 8 hours with that bump facing the camera afterwards for like 8 hours, and nobody noticed. So, you know, I forgot about it pretty quick. Got over it. Had pretty much completely stopped wondering what that was about. Had just moved on and everything. And then Russ gets on Stream with Academics the other day. And, I mean, this is right after the video had come out of the goons beating on Smoke Perp, you know, 5 massive fucking dudes who look like they probably played football in college and stuff. And then Russ there, not fighting, not swinging. And these dudes are sort of ragdolling Perp, smacking him around. It's in Germany, which is kind of an important fact to remember is in Germany. Because, you know, I've been on tour with Perp. I have hung out with Perp a lot. And, you know, I would say that, you know, there are people around Perp who keep him protected for sure. But, you know, he's in Germany. And a lot of these rappers, you know, they go on tour to fucking Germany and they're not thinking about people getting them, you know. And normally when you go overseas, it's all love. Everybody's showing love. So, I mean, when I saw that video of Perp, it definitely didn't click in my head that there was any relationship between that and what happened to me. But then he's on Academics live stream talking about it, and Russ just pops in there and says, this motherfucker Adam 22 got touched too. But then the call like cut out, and you couldn't really tell what he's saying and stuff. But Ack said that he talked to him like privately or whatever, and he got the idea that it absolutely definitely was related to Russ. So that was kind of a crazy thing to realize, because I had considered so many options of what could have caused the situation and everything, and I never once thought maybe it was Russ's friends. So that was kind of weird. I sat on the information for a couple of days because I really didn't have that many people hitting me up about it. I was thinking, you know, am I supposed to say something publicly? And I just kept thinking about it, kept seeing the way the stuff was sort of playing out with the whole Perp thing and everything, and it kind of pissed me off because I saw some people acting like Perp was a pussy, which is not what I got from that video at all. What I got from that video was, I don't think that video made Perp look bad. I think that video made Perp look totally fine. You know, he's fucking tried to fight. I don't know if he got one punch off, but I mean, who really would in a situation like that where you got a whole bunch of dudes beating the dog shit out of you? And in my case, I mean, it was even a little bit more pathetic because it was just like a totally botched job. I had a fucking chain on, and they didn't even bother to take that. They were there for such a brief split second in time that they didn't even probably have a chance to perceive the fact that I was wearing a chain, which for the record, I don't wear jewelry for the record. My girlfriend bought me a chain for my birthday and I was wearing it that day. I wear it once in a blue moon. But yeah, like that was a weird thing to realize. And I just kept thinking about it. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with Russ? You know? Because it's like, okay, with the Perp thing, I feel like that is a much more, like what Perp did, I felt like it was like more of a legitimate reason to fight somebody. Because Perp did, you know, say like, fuck you, bitch, and all this shit on Twitter. And then he also made his sister his fucking Instagram photo, which to me, my personal code, I'm not talking shit about somebody's mom or their family members, so that to me is not really cool. But what did I do? I mean, I already showed all these fucking tweets. I'm not going to pull them up again. But, you know, I made a tweet that was a poll, like, what would you rather your kid get into, Xanax or Russ? And Xanax won by like 65%. There was a couple other ones. I said something about, like the day I got verified, and I forgot about this. Russ reminded me of this. The day I got verified, I just tweeted, hell yeah, I'm verified. So now I can finally say this and he'll see it. Russ, you got to switch your whole shit up. Which I think is kind of funny. For people who watch a lot of No Jumper, you know that switch your whole shit up is kind of a low-key meme. If somebody's really blowing it, you just tell them, you know, switch your whole shit up. Anyway, enough about how funny I am. Yeah, I have some tweets that I thought were all right. And I guess they pissed Russ off so much, which is interesting. Because, you know, I've made fun of a lot of rappers. There's been a lot of rappers who sort of, you know, have been a punchline at some point in time. And when I made the video about Russ and I reacted to his Breakfast Club interview the other day, for the record, I had no idea about this yet. I had no idea. I found out that night after that video had already came out. So that video's a little dated now. But yeah, it was just mind-blowing to me that somebody like Russ would actually take time to do this out of his life as, you know, a rich, successful musician who's got all the things that he could possibly have, I guess, that he would like take time out of his life to organize sending Nigerian hitmen, toughs, goons, whatever you might want to call them, whatever that role consists of. And I only know they're Nigerian because he was describing in the Breakfast Club interview how absolutely everybody that he hangs out with his entire life is Nigerian, which is nice, I guess. Yeah. And I mean, the weird part about it, and I've had a lot of conversations about this with other people, and I actually, since this happened, I've come to realize that there's a lot of, not a lot, but at least some rappers and even some industry people associated with said rappers who have had the exact same shit that I had happen to me, happen to them. And I'm not going to reveal those names because some of those people are planning on coming forward and talking about it. Little Russ's own little Me Too movement, I guess. But yeah, there's people who are planning on coming out and talking about it because this is something that Russ, apparently this is like it's a big hobby of his. It's like a passion of his. It's just sort of like sending people out there to sort of settle his grievances, which is weird. And here's the weird part about it. We were talking about this and I said, you know what's crazy about it is that there's a lot of people in rap who would do this. Like when you really think about like a lot of like street dudes and stuff, if they saw somebody on Twitter and they were becoming a meme, there's a lot of people on Twitter, I think, who are in rap who would not consider themselves above sending someone to do something to that person to send a message, right? The difference is when you see these dudes do it, they don't then go on Twitter and just admit to it, or they don't brag about it on Academics' live stream. Like in Russ's head, what did he think was going to happen when he put out the video of Perp getting beat up by 5 dudes that were not Russ, while Russ stood there and hyped them up but did not swing a punch? And then he could have just stayed quiet about the fact that he had something done to me, but instead he decided to brag about it on Academics' live stream. And from my perspective, and I'm looking at his mentions, I've been looking at Twitter a little bit too much. I've been reading the instances of Russ. Russ was #1 on trending last night while we had this argument. I wish it was Adam 22 #1 on trending, but the fact that I was the reason why he was #1 on trending, wow, I don't think I've ever done anything that's been #1 on trending before. Anyway, it's just like, how did he think that was gonna make him look tough? Even his own fans are looking at him like, dude, that's some hoe-ass shit. And they would say the same thing about a lot of these gangster dudes who would send somebody. It's just that Russ bragged about it. Russ had to bring it up. And he had tweets, you can go read them, where he was saying, you know, that's not, somebody said, like, you're a pussy, why don't you do it yourself? He said, rich bosses don't get their hands dirty. Bro. You're 5'5", okay? You're shook. You're scared. You would not want to fight me one-on-one, and I don't even get out here and say that. You guys, my fans, you never heard me sit on here and be like, yo, I'll whoop your ass. Russ, I would obviously beat the dog shit out of you in a one-on-one fight, and you know that, and I know that, and I know there ain't no one-on-ones. This is LA. There ain't no one-on-ones. My friends are not going to let me fight you one-on-one, just like your friends are not going to let me fight you one-on-one. But come on. Be fucking serious. You get no tough points for that shit that you did to Perp. You get no tough points that you did for what you did to me. And you get absolutely no tough points for what you did to so-and-so's manager, who's probably going to come out and air your ass out and make you look like even more of a dumbass. I don't know how the fuck he thinks this makes him look good. And his whole perspective on it, his whole thing is to be like, I was being bullied. It was only a matter of time before I handled that shit myself. Blah, blah, blah. It's like, bro, you didn't handle it yourself. You brag about how you do everything yourself. You make your own beats, but you can't hand out your own beats, can you, Russ? And he was talking to me. He's DMing me all last night. He wanted me to call him right away. I'm like, bro, I got girls over. I ain't trying to fuck up the mood to sit here and have a fucking weird-ass phone call when I feel like you did some hoe-ass shit. And you straight up you should be fucking apologizing, if anything, because your fans look up to you. They think that you're a fucking positive dude. They think that you're like a good person that they want to look up to. And you're nice, middle-class, suburban fans. Who knows? Maybe I would have been one of them if things had gone a little bit differently. They don't respect what you did either. You get no tough points. Yeah, some people are laughing about it. There's a lot of people who don't like me, in case you guys don't know that. I see a lot of those people even having to kind of side with me on this one, as in, hey, maybe we don't like Adam, but at least he didn't do that whack-ass shit. So yeah, I mean, it's like Russ was trying to get on the phone last night to talk about it. I'm like, what kind of conversation are we gonna have? I want to have this conversation publicly. You decided to get my ass beat privately. You did a piss poor job. I didn't get a goddamn scratch on me. The most minute little bump. Why would I want to sort that out privately? I'm not fucking scared of you. I don't care. I don't care if what are you gonna do? You send more dudes for me? I don't give a fuck. And another thing I was thinking about that's fucked up is that they waited all day. Who knows how many days they went there, but they waited for hours until I was alone in the nail salon. Do you know what would have happened if they tried that shit in front of my fucking overreacting ass friends that would they would do anything to stop something bad from happening to me? And I don't want to have fucking blood on my hands for something bad happening to this perfectly nice guy that probably got paid $200 by Russ. You know, it's like if something bad happens to this fucking kid that he sends, I'm going to feel bad about it too. Why would you even want to take things to that level? And while I was talking to Russ, I said this. I said, think about how Cole handled shit. I will admit, I said some fucking stupid ass shit about Cole. I used him as a punchline in some tweets. So did Pump. So did Perp. But then what happened? J. Cole came and met with me as a person. He went and met with Pump as a person, like through me. He had me actually like set up like a FaceTime call with Pump and everything. He handled it like a fucking G. And the end result was that me and Pump were both forced to concede that we were wrong, that we did something stupid in that situation. Me and Pump, and I don't want to put words in his mouth, but me and Pump both basically at some point said, that shit was whack. We shouldn't have done that. Like for me on a personal level, I'm over that stage in my life where I would like just villainize a rapper to use as a punchline. Like they did it to Cole, they did it to Wale, they still do it to Russ. I'm not playing into that anymore, and it has nothing to do with the fact that it's Russ that we're talking about. It has nothing to do with me being scared of Russ. It has to do with the fact that I just don't think that's the right way for me to carry myself. But that shit's not gonna stop. People are gonna keep doing that shit. I just don't want to be the dude. Like if some fucking corny rapper comes out tomorrow, I'll probably ignore him. Maybe I'll make fun of him a little bit, but I'm not gonna make them that full-time punchline the way we did with the Russ shit and the J. Cole shit, because J. Cole, as a fucking grown-up, as a real G, he made me feel like a goddamn dumbass for that shit. He made me feel like, fuck, why do I want to carry myself around like that and like put negative energy out there into the air? Russ doesn't feel that he could do that. Russ did something very different. So now you have the whole SoundCloud generation who had already kind of stopped, using Cole as a punchline or anything. But then he went and showed me respect, had a conversation with me on camera, showed Pump respect, and basically forced us both to be like, all right, that was fucked up. We respect you. Like, we really do. And it's not like J. Cole needs my fucking respect. Obviously, he's done enough with his life that he could have just not reached out to me at all. He could have completely ignored the fact that I had made these little jokes and shit. But he didn't. He carried himself like a fucking boss. And Russ, I guess Russ thinks that this is how bosses handle themselves, but I don't know, man. And I really think, like, as many people dislike me, I really feel like he just, like, underestimated how many people love me. Because if I ever had sort of forgot how many people love me, my phone exploding with people hitting me up saying, yo, like people telling me like, oh, we want to do this, we want to do that. I'm like, no, like I don't want to play into that. Like I'm not trying to like, if it was a regular guy, maybe we'd have something to talk about. He's a rich fucking dude who lives in Atlanta. Ain't nobody gonna touch Russ. Russ is moving around smart. The last thing I want is for somebody that I know to put themselves in a stupid situation to do something about that. So, and I made that very clear to anybody who's hit me up for the record. But yeah, man, the whole thing is a fucking joke. And I just wish that Russ would be like more of an adult about this shit and not, it's not even like about being an adult because like, yeah, I made a bunch of fucking stupid jokes, but like him trying to get tough points off of this shit is just the most cringeworthy, embarrassing shit ever. So, Russ, you got to hold this L. Maybe at some point we could have a conversation and be cool or whatever, but I had to at least get this shit off my chest for a YouTube video just because the whole situation is just so sad. Anyway. If you've never watched my shit before, my name's Adam22. I do a podcast called No Jumper, and it's amazing. And you should subscribe to this channel, and you should subscribe to the No Jumper channel, and you should also buy something from NoJumper.com because it's a great place to shop. Did I miss anything? I don't know. It's probably enough, right? All right. Love you guys. Peace.